Light Seltzer start making lemonade?
Probably when 2020 handed us all those lemons.
New Bud Light Seltzer Lemonade, packed with lemonade flavor after a lemon of a year.
Opponents? I've gone up against thousands.
And there's
I want to preface my question by saying I, of course, know there's a difference between college football and the NFL. But in your last couple of games for Alabama, you were in a situation where it was win or go home. So you had that, mentality of we have to win this game or the season's over. I'm just wondering in terms of how you prepared mentally for those games carries over in terms of preparing for your first win or go home game in the NFL.
Yeah, I think obviously there's, a lot that you have to put into it as a team, as a player, as an offense, and regardless of what level you're playing on, you understand what's at stake from both sides of the ball. So the team you're playing understands that, and then obviously you have to understand that too. So I think it's more about just doing a little bit more, but you got to stick to what you know, and you have to just prepare how you always have, regardless of the situation.
And just thinking back to those games at Alabama, were there butterflies before those playoff games? And do you expect butterflies on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think preparation helps eliminate that. And the plan is to be really prepared and continue to do what we do every week to feel that way. And obviously that's the goal, is to prepare really hard and then go out there and produce, and then you put those together and good things should happen.
Thank you, Mac.
Next question, Ian Steele, followed by Mark Daniels.
Hey, Mac, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I remember after the Dolphins game, you said you were personally embarrassed by your play. And I'm wondering, what were you struggling with? What are other teams doing? And how are you taking it upon yourself to make sure that those embarrassing games don't continue when they matter the most?
Yeah, I think, when you watch the game film, sometimes you have an initial reaction and all that, but at the same time, I can do a better job just sticking with my reads and doing what I'm supposed to do from the quarterback standpoint, just leading everybody and doing that really well. So it's different every week. And, the goal this week is to just try and prepare, like we talked about, really hard and do what we've been doing and come together and just be ready to go by Saturday. And that's all you can ask for. And we know the Bills are a really good team. They have a great defense, top in the league. And we understand, that they have great players and great coaches on that side of the ball.
Thank you.
Next question, Mark Daniels, followed by Maury Hirschberg.
Hey, Mac, in which way would you say that, your coaches, Coach Belichick and Josh, have helped you not only through this season, but as you're entering your first playoff game, and just what's it meant to have, such experienced coaches, with you there to prepare?
Yeah, I definitely think this is not their first rodeo, and they've been through a lot of really close games in these type of situations, and just trying to listen to the advice they have, and whether it's Josh or Coach Belichick or anybody, even the older players who have done this before. And, it is another game, but there is more at stake, and you have to realize that, there's not a lot of room for error, and that's kind of what makes it fun. It's more pressure. And like I said, you prepare well, you feel comfortable, and then at that point you go play the game that you've played since you were little.
Next question, Maury Hirschberg, followed by Andrew Callahan.
Hey, Mac, hope you're doing well. Does it give you added confidence knowing that you've been in this spot before in Buffalo, got a win in similar conditions and similar temperatures, that, in your first playoff game, you're going to go somewhere where you've had success already?
Yeah, I think every game's a new game, and we, are getting a chance to play them again. And, like I said, they have a great defense, and it's not going to go the same way it has. I think it's always, it's a new week, it's a new day. So we just have to try and stick to what we know and understand, what they have over there. And we have the utmost respect for them. And, I think the other times are the other times, and this is a new opportunity for both teams.
Next question, Andrew Callahan, followed by Bob Sosi.
Hey, Mac, it's good to see you. I just want to go back to something you mentioned earlier about kind of you could do a better job of sticking to your reads, with respect to the Miami game. What might be pulling you away from making those reads as often as you'd like to be?
Yeah, I think it's just getting back to, what I know, and that's getting completions and throwing it to the right guy, and whether it's deep or intermediate or short, it doesn't matter. I can do a better job there, and that's what you try and do every week. You're not going to complete 100%, but you want to get as close as you can, so that you can move the ball, down the field and push it down the field too. So.
And then what do you know about this Bills defense? We've obviously asked you about them twice now, make it 3, but you only learned after facing them now 2 times that you didn't know from seeing them on film in your first game.
Yeah, I think you see the effort that they play with, when you play against the team, and they definitely play with effort. They're never going to quit, and they're flying to the ball and all that. So it's, you watch it on tape, and then you kind of see it on the field, and that's what they do really well, and obviously a lot of things really well. And they don't have a lot of, issues or anything like that. They're pretty good all around, really good all around, and, have experience. So that's one thing. They've played a lot of snaps together as a group, not only this year against us and all that, but just as a whole. And, like I said, it's going to take 60 minutes, and they have a great coach over there too, so they understand what they needed to do, and we just have to go out there and do what we need to do.
Thanks, Mac.
Next question, Bob Socci, followed by Mike Reese.
Thanks, Stace. Hey, Mac, how you doing?
Good.
Good. This is along Andrew's question, the lines of his question regarding Buffalo and the way the disguise coverage is the safeties in particular, and some of the late pre-snap movement. What did you learn from that first experience, having gone through it? And as a quarterback, how important is conviction in what you think you're seeing to then execute based on that, if that makes sense? Do they test you from that standpoint to really trust what you think you see out there?
Yeah, I think every good defense that we've gone against, has some element of that. And, whether you're in college or NFL, I think there's really good disguise in the NFL. And this defense does a good job. Like I said before, just between the 2 safeties, they just have a lot of experience in terms of just years of playing the position in the NFL, almost as long as I've been alive. So, they're really experienced, and then they also are great players. So you add those things together, and, that's kind of what you see on tape. And then that's what you see when you play against them. They play with great energy, and, they're great football players.
All right. Thanks, Mac.
Question, Mike Reese, followed by Phil Perry.
All right. Thanks, Stacey. Mac, Coach Belichick paid you a nice compliment when he was asked about you. He said you're one of the team's most consistent players, just day in and day out. And I wanted to ask you, where did you learn about the value of consistency? Like, which coach maybe stressed that to you, or when did that first become part of your thinking, as a player?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think a lot of my coaches along the way obviously have preached that to me, and whether it's high school, college, or even my parents, just try and come up with a plan and stick with it and adjust where you need to adjust. But once you get into a rhythm, that always helps. So I think obviously I have a lot of learning to do, but I just try to be as consistent as I can be. And I think our team's the same way. That's how, the Patriots are. There's a schedule, and we're very detailed, and everyone has a plan every day, and they just attack it with the right mindset. So I'm just trying to do the same as some of the guys that have been here for, 5 or more years.
I'm glad you liked the question. I'm back on the board. All right, good. I'm in a better place. Thank you.
There you go.
Next question, Phil Perry, followed by Chris Ryan.
Never get too high or too low, Reese. Come on, you got to keep it even keeled. Okay. Mac, I wanted to ask you. I think a lot of us, when we have heard quarterbacks talk in the past, or people who played the position before that are analysts now, they talk about playing fast at that position. Do you feel like there are moments where you could maybe play too fast though, or try to play too fast? And how do you strike that balance between, playing fast enough that you can take advantage of whatever the defense is showing you, but also not overdoing it and maybe running into a mistake.
Yeah, I think there's a fine line between the two. I mean, you have to just get a feel for that day and kind of what you want to do. But naturally, I process pretty fast, and sometimes I do have to just slow down. But it depends. I mean, it changes every day. Even some days at practice, you kind of get into your flow and you just play how you know. And yeah, I think that's for anybody. They want to just get to where they feel comfortable, like they're playing fast and free, and not overthinking. So that's also important. So you can't really go back and forth too much.
Thanks, Mac.
Last question, Chris Ryan.
Hey, Mac, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I wanted to ask you a question about the emotions in big games. Like, are you a guy that wants to kind of stay even with that, or do you want to, feel the energy of a national championship game or a playoff game and kind of rise to that type of a level from an emotional standpoint in kind of what you're talking about before and playing, fast or within yourself?
Yeah, I think like football is obviously an emotional game, but at the end of the day, it's more of an execution game. And you just have to go out there depending on your position. And some guys like to get real hyped up and stuff, and some guys don't. So it's just kind of whatever you just got to be you. And, for different people, it's a different things. Like a defensive lineman might get hyped up a different way than I do, for example. But I think it is important to get into that flow where you feel really comfortable. And whether it's a championship game or whatever it may be, it doesn't really matter. You just got to do what you got to do.
Thank you very much, Mac. Thanks, everyone.
See ya.
When did Bud Light Seltzer start making lemonade? Probably when 2020 handed us all those lemons.
New Bud Light Seltzer Lemonade, packed with lemonade flavor after a lemon of a year.
Opponents? I've gone up against thousands.
And there's an opponent we're all up against, COVID-19.
But there's a way to beat it. Get vaccinated.
So when it's your turn, roll up your sleeves.
And let's get to the finish line together.
When did Bud Light Seltzer start making lemonade? Probably when 2020 handed us all those lemons.
New Bud Light Seltzer Lemonade, packed with lemonade flavor after a lemon of a year.
Opponents? I've gone up against thousands.
And there's an opponent we're all up against, COVID-19.
But